Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real World News TV Live. I'm your host, Reggie Kearney, all the way from the wonderful state of Maryland, the city of the plate of Maryland. And tonight I got my co-host, Toni Breedlove, all the way from the city of Sin, Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing, Toni?
I am doing okay. I'm doing okay. And let me first apologize again for the lag, Mr. Kearney. I've been working on this all weekend, and I have invited some of the support team for Be Live TV to either view us here, uh, right here on Be Live, or to head on over to the Facebook page under Real World News TV. So again, I apologize for the lag, but the news still goes on. And like I said earlier, as long as they can see you coming in the right way, the rest is just nothing.
Okay, if you say so. Well, last week was a particular crazy week here in American politics. And one of the questions we want to pose tonight to everyone, we want to ask you, is the U.S. example of a shithole country? Okay, I'm just going to say it. Okay, that's the
Mm.
word that was used. We noticed over the past several days we've been hit with a firestorm of media coverage of Trump's, 45's reference of to the actual African nations, Haiti, as shithole countries. Okay, and we're trying to understand what he exactly meant by the usage of those terms, and we pretty much know what the terms were, why he used them, and everything. I guess he thought he was in the company of like-minded people, and that be no problem with him using that type of language to describe countries in Africa and countries in Haiti, not realizing that there's always one person who's going to listen to it and going to take it to the outside. But then, what really perplexed me was the statement he made saying, why can't we have more people like the people from Norway, Norwegians, okay? He made that statement, and that statement pretty much showed me that he just continues to want to make America great again by, so he says, by only dealing with people of European heritage. Okay, and he made that perfectly clear. Basically, he wants white folks in America, no black folks, no people of color. So we're going to discuss that tonight. I'm going to talk about that and some of the other issues surrounding that whole debacle that took place in the White House last week. So, what you got to say about this mess, Toni?
Oh boy, I think I started out on our promo.
Yeah.
I think I started, yeah. I think as we have the description of tonight's show, I think the description leads into a lot of what I have to say about it, because before you start pointing fingers and talking about countries being shithole places, you have to take a look at what's going on in our own country.
Correct.
Um, there has been a failure to correct some of the things that have been going on here in our own country. We talk about, I think I mentioned the issues of everyday Americans being beat down and killed in the street by law enforcement. Well, when we talk about issues of that, even when this so called president encourages people in law enforcement to be brutal or more brutal or not care as to if you hurt them, he encourages law enforcement to take certain steps to brutalize everyday citizens. So, just that one factor, that one alone, tells you that how dare you, even reference these African countries, in that nation as shithole countries when we've got a problem here. So how do you do that? And then it just happens to be that you target black countries, predominantly black countries. Why is that?
Well, as we've stated, man, the dude's a racist. Okay, now I would say he's a racist. I'm not going to be like Dr. Martin Luther King's nephew and say that he's not racist, but he might have tendencies. The dude is racist. Okay, he's just bottom line racist. I think he plays strongly to his base. That's what he wants to do. He's made all these promises when he was campaigning that concerning immigration, that he's going to run everybody out of the country. And I think that's just an extension of what he's doing. Okay, when he plays favor to his base. I think he thought what he said was cute and what he was saying. But then you get a response from the grand poobah of the Klan and the jerk down in Louisiana, David Dukes, saying the statement was a great statement and act on it. Okay, I mean this country, he's causing this country to go backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah.
Okay? And my disappointment is in our community not having enough outrage about it to say something about it, to do something about it, protest about it.
But you know what I think I'm surprised at is that, like you said, where there was not this overpouring of outrage when this statement was made. And, you've got some people who say, yes, he said it. Yes, no, he didn't say it. But again, I'm like you, because when I heard it, I thought, what the hell? I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this come through and I'm like, are you kidding me? And it wasn't like I had to, like in some cases, it's not like I had to discern or dissect what the news coverage was being given. It was like right there, it just hit me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And it just angered me to no point. And I don't understand how nobody else could feel that. I think it was, this passive reaction. Even when I got on Facebook and on other social media, it was a passive reaction. So I don't know how anybody could not be outraged.
Well, I was upset because I sent you a message saying I wanted to go Facebook Live. Do me a Facebook Live. Create me a Facebook Live because I was that irritated about it that I was ready to make some comments on it. Okay. Now, I was at a breakfast on Monday, Dr. Martin Luther King breakfast that was sponsored by the NAACP here in the area I live in. And the speaker this year was April Ryan. And poor April, she's been through hell with that White House.
Yeah.
And I think Trump would really love to throw her out the White House, but he realizes that that'd be the worst thing in the world to do is throw out a black journalist out of the White House. But one of the things that she stated was, and you could hear her voice in the background asking him questions as he walked out of the room. She said it was very painful that for her to have to ask him, "Are you a racist?" Okay, because he never addressed the statement. He's never addressed it until Sunday. He was somewhere. I think he might have been at Lago, wherever the place called it. Not really doing any business, about to go under. He won't let everybody know that it's not really profitable. He said he's the most non-racist person that you ever want to meet. He finally addressed it. But why couldn't he give April an answer when she asked him? For him to answer that question when April was asking would have been playing, not playing to his base. The jerk is a racist, okay? I'm sorry, I've been very hard on 45. I'm going to continue to be hard on 45 until he leaves the White House. I mean, he was being very racist, And she made a comment, in one of her statements in her speech. She asked the question, where were the protests at? She said, back in the day, somebody would have got on the phone calling the airline and saying, can I make reservations to Shithole, wherever it is? Okay, there were people been making they would make calls to the telephone company. That's the telephone companies asking, "Can I make a phone call to Shithole?" There would have been levels of protest going on that had never been seen before. But no one here has protested. You've heard some blurs from people concerned about the fact that he made those statements, but you haven't had no real protest, and that's what irks me.
Well, let me ask you a question, and this is just a question that is it's been looming for me for this past week. Do you think that blacks, particularly blacks, are now so I don't want to say passive.
The word she used was passive. Okay, it's passive.
So do you think that blacks, we have become so passive now that we just accept anything that is being said?
Well,
or people of color?
I think what's happened, integration was good, okay? We had to get beyond, and Dr. King fought for us to get beyond that point where, and other civil rights leaders fought to get us beyond the point of segregation, okay? Because the schools were segregated. Everything was segregated. You couldn't go eat at a restaurant. I remember growing up in the South. I never went in there because my father wouldn't allow us to go in there. It was the town restaurant, hot dog stand, and you had to go directly to the back, order your food, and walk out. There was a restaurant in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, a barbecue restaurant where you couldn't go inside to be served. You had to be served outside the window. So we finally got into the point where, because we're able to do and go places that we could never go. We're able to go to schools that we never thought we would go to, like the schools, the white universities, still white universities, I call them, versus HBCUs. We're able to eat in restaurants that we never could eat in. We're able to live where we want to live at, and we're able to really spend our money the way we want to spend it without any issues or problems with it. So I think what has happened, we have become passive because we've got everything we want. So we kind of, to a certain extent, would blow off statements about Trump. Where in the day, back in the day, gosh, we would be probably up in D.C. right now, a couple 100,000 people protesting, boycotting. We'd be boycotting businesses. We would make him pay for making that statement. And
so
that
what is it now? I mean, I see that's the whole thing. But what is it? Because I'm just not one to accept the fact that we have become so passive because we have what we want. I think that that's shallow when we talk about what we want. When we talk about what the things, that's shallow. When we had been brought to this country on slave ships. And just because now they say, oh, well, here we are, here's a signature says that you're not, you're no longer enslaved. Or here's a signature that says, okay, Negroes, go ahead, run free. Go get your own land, go buy your own homes, go buy, buy cars, do whatever you want to do, put a little money in the bank, go eat at a certain restaurant. What the hell? How are we not still enslaved when we have statements by a man who runs this country and calls the nations or the countries in which we have derived from shithole countries? And we're okay with that. That to me is just the most asinine thing I've ever heard.
It is, and it's disappointing. We don't have that fire anymore. We have Reverend Barber out there doing all he can do to keep the flame burning, but then, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't hear anything from the people that we used to hear from. I think Al Sharpton made a statement. I think a couple members of Congress, the Black Congressional Black Caucus, made a statement, but no real, call a news conference and tear him a new butthole. Comments. And that just bothers me. I think we're bound to repeat history if we don't wake up. Wake up
Well,
and get with the program.
history is, yeah, but see, history is being repeated every day that we live.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in a different fashion. When you've got people being beat down in the streets by cops simply because you might have a darker skin color than the next man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just going to say it's blacks, it's Hispanics, it's Asians, and there are trickle in parts, of white folks being beat down too. But that's just a new form of the violence that had been perpetuated during the 60s. That's just a new form. So I just, I don't know. It just upsets me. It upsets me, and it upsets me that no one else is as upset as you or I. I don't get it. I refuse to accept the fact that, now that because we can go in restaurants as we please,
Mm-hmm.
or buy a home or buy cars and property and have our money in the bank and raise our children and go to school where they want to. I refuse to accept the fact that someone would feel that way when our rights, just our overall being, is being put down every day. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We've got to do more. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's just like the fact that they took Roland Martin's program off of TV One. Okay, a great program. Roland's a great commentator, and Roland, kept us informed. And then they removed him. I mean, the shows that Roland could have done this week and last week would have been phenomenal. He would have took the
Absolutely.
streets. Okay, he would have had 45 walking backwards. Okay, because he was stuck at that. So, those are voices like that we are losing that we need to have. Here we're trying with Real World News TV do our little part. Okay, and we're not reaching the masses like we want to. But we're getting through to some people.
It's getting there.
It's
Right.
good.
Right.
So it just bothers me when, a black-owned company such as TV One, removes the voice of one of the voices of Black America. When it takes that voice away, and that voice is really needed. Okay, to keep us standing on our toes. But I'm just disappointed. Okay, I'm just disappointed in our leaders, our so-called civil rights leaders, for not pouncing on him, not calling for national boycotts or something. We need to
Yeah.
do targeted boycotts. We might not close the doors of a company down, but we can hurt their earnings. Okay, we need to let America know that we're still here, we're still kicking, and we're not going anywhere, and that they have to accept the fact that we are here. But like I said, when you're making $200,000 a year, you feel like life is great. You're not looking at the news. You're not current on current events. You just living in existence. And that's the
So
bad part about it.
right. So let me ask you a question though,
Mhm.
because when we have people who are across the aisle, not the right, but let's look to the left,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And you have people. Well, we had, I think it was two senators were in that meeting, in which both, one was on the Democratic side, the other was a Republican,
Mhm.
and both at that time had even admitted to hearing this particular statement that Donald Trump had made. Then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we get the firestorm from those people, like from the Washington Post, NPR. We get who is that? We get a bunch of people that are doing independent commentary for either these huge newspapers or magazines, or what do you call them? Web salons, doing these blogs or whatnot.
All right.
We get those people who are sitting in front of the camera on these news shows, CNN and MSNBC. But not since those two senators have been in that meeting and they both said, yes, this is what we heard. Have you heard anything else from that administration? There has not been any comment. And I'm surprised that their press secretary didn't even say anything. You know, she has basically refused, or I think she's tiptoed past saying anything.
Yeah.
And is it because that maybe Trump has, well, of course, Trump is going to tell her what she can and cannot say. But doesn't that make it look bad, not only for the administration, but doesn't that actually lead the American people into thinking, oh, well, you know, we haven't heard anything else, so we're not going to say anything else?
Well, it boils down to the fact that those people in the White House and certain senators are very loyal to 45. They came out straight up and lied, said they didn't hear anything, that he never said anything. Okay, that led him to say Sunday, didn't you hear what they said? I didn't say anything. Okay, you know, they lying about the lies and they believe in the lies that they're telling. Okay. One senator, Republican senator, even made a comment that Durbin in the past had been known to twist the truth and that he was doing it at this time. You know, they try to make him look bad, okay? But the thing is, Graham was in the room, and Graham, you know, admonished 45 for saying what he said, that this was in time and place for that kind of language. And Durbin, you know, verified the fact, you know, but they're covering it up because this is the problem. Those idiots that are covering up for 45, you know, they're in states where the base is very strong for 45 followers, okay? They're looking at midterm elections coming up, their seats coming up. They're trying to hold on to their seats. So are they going to go out and say that 45 did say what they say and risk losing their votes? No, they're not going to do that, you know, because they're committed to trying to win again. So whatever they have to do to win, they're willing to do it, even if it's lying to the American public about what he said. The idiot is a racist, okay? And that's the bottom line.
That's the part that, and I know that, but that's the part right there that should outrage Americans.
Yeah.
Is that these are the people that are sitting in your states, your cities, your counties, and you are putting them in there to represent you as a people, right? And if they want to come out and lie to you, then how can you accept that? People should be outraged. If you heard what he said, you heard what he said. Be honest about that. Be honest about it. Tell the people who have put you in that seat that this is what this racist bastard said.
Mm-hmm. But what the problem what happens, the deplorable idiots feel like the first thing they'll say, well, you know, he's not a polished politician. You know, he's going to say things that don't sound good, don't sound right, and not politically correct. So they accept this mess that he says. Okay, they blame it on his lack of intelligence, of his lack of being a politician.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he knows.
He knows what he's doing. And you can use the excuse all day long about, you know, he doesn't have the qualities of a politician. He doesn't know politics. He doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. He knows exactly what he's saying. And as long as these assholes continue to cover up for him, it's going to be something more and more worse as time goes by. Mm-hmm. And how long can they cover up for an idiot? He's an idiot. He's a racist bastard.
With 3 more years, they're going to cover up for him. I mean, when you don't even get Carson didn't even come out and make a comment, okay?
Oh, well, we don't even count him.
You know, he's scared. He's going to do his job, you know.
He don't even count.
And look, and what happened to his, and Omarosa? Well, she was upset about some of the racist stuff that was going on in the White House. Why didn't she come out and say something about it? You know,
she don't count any either because we took her black card away.
Her black card, took out this summer and stuff. But you know, people that are in or have been in that White House should have made a comment. Yeah, so that I don't know. I'm so disgusted right now. I'm so frustrated with Black America. It makes me boil over.
I
Because if
know.
we are not going after this man like we need to go after him. You know.
Because I'm going to tell you this. Because when I sat there, and like I said, when that coverage, that news came through, I was actually sitting there and it was coming through. My soul ached. My insides turned. And I was basically trying to hold back the tears because I'm thinking, how much further do we allow him to go? When is someone going to step up and speak out and put a stop to this? How far will this go? It just keeps getting worse and worse day by day. And nobody's saying anything. But I don't know if somebody else felt that, but I'm serious. I heard that and my soul just wanted to weep.
I think
I
that
don't get it.
Yeah, I think there were a number. I think the vast majority of Black Americans were upset about what 45 said. Have we shown it by actions? No, we haven't. But I don't think the vast majority of us are naive to what was said. Okay, but we got to come up with to show them our actions about our disappointment. Our frustrations. Um, how we need to talk about our anger, about how angry we are at what 45 is doing in this White House. Okay, um,
Yeah.
like I said in a Facebook posting on that day, I'm so frustrated with him insulting our intelligence. Feeling like he can go after, and that might be on another post. Might not even be about to do so much posts. I can't even keep it with my own post. But with being so frustrated and anger at his condescending attitude towards African Americans. Okay, I'm tired. I'm fed up with it. Okay, and we need to we need to do something. I mean, you look at other countries around the world when their leader does something that's not uh, what they consider right. They'll call for a
Hmm.
national strike and everybody will be there protesting.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
if I was to say February the 1st, we're going to meet in Washington D.C. and we're going to raise hell for a day. We're going to speak. We're going to raise our voices. We're going to let 45 know we're not happy. You know,
Hmm.
I'd probably be standing there by myself. Okay,
Hmm.
we don't have that reaction anymore.
Yeah.
I think last time, when Obama was in office and we had issues going on. I think there were a number of times that we came together in Washington. With Reverend Al Sharpton brought us together, a couple other
Hmm.
organizations. But we need to be coming together now. We need to be showing
Yeah.
up at the White House um, and fussing and fighting about what's going on in this country. And not saying so
Yeah.
when we don't speak up, then the feeling is that we accept what's going on. Okay, when we don't
Yeah.
have those
Yeah.
voices out there, that we accept what's going on.
Right.
Again, like I said, Reverend Barber can't do it all by herself. We need to be out there assisting them, and then we don't have that voice of Roland,
Yeah.
out
Makes a
there
difference.
anymore. Roland is trying. He's doing his podcast. He's doing his Facebook Live. He's doing his YouTube. He's doing everything he can to keep that connection. But
To
we need
keep
him
it
back on
right.
national TV, to
We
really
really
dig
do.
into 45's administration.
Yeah, yeah, we really do. I have to agree with that. And, I was looking for this comment and I found it. Because on my Facebook page, I posted, when was this, on the 14th? What was that? Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I posted, if African nations are considered shithole countries, then what would you consider the U.S.? I had a comment on here and I wanted to read it to you.
Okay.
But this was from one of my followers, and he says, Just think, everybody or everyone who believes this whole story have just been taken for a ride. The Washington Post is not, they're not journalists. There is no recording. There is no minutes, zero evidence of our president saying this. All of a sudden, CNN and MSNBC can say shit on air as much as they want without being fined by the FCC. Do you realize just 24 hours before the ruse, the president opened the doors to the world to negotiate DACA, and the American public was at ease, but the globalists will not have it. They have to try anything to stop anything positive from happening. Remember who owns Hollywood in general and the general media. 51% or more is owned by China and other foreign globalists. They do not want our economy to flourish. They want all of us to be enslaved. A strong middle class is a huge threat to them, but choose you this day who report you will believe. Will you believe Hollywood, the masters of fiction and entertainment, or will you choose to seek out the truth? It's pretty simple. Turn off the lying crap. Spend time with your families and let the evil Hollywood rapists and pedophiles continue to poison your mind. Um,
The real Jack, and I mean, that's all I gotta say.
um,
Fox News is the biggest purveyor of false news, there is out there. They always twisting everything. I mean, Fox News is one of 45's biggest supporters, and they would twist everything that comes out when it comes to news to keep him looking like he's the best thing since sliced bread.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so whoever wrote that, they can go straight to where, as far I'm concerned. Fox News. People sit there and think Fox News is the Bible for the media. They're not. They're
But
twisting everything
but you
up.
know
And they
what?
have
But you know what really got me on that statement though, Reg? What really, really I think twisted my undies on that was
mhm.
that when you mentioned, now it was said that there were two individuals from both sides that were in that meeting and confirmed that he had said this. But instead of taking the word that yes, this happened, you say in response to my post, well, there was no videotape, there was no recording, there were no minutes, there were no. Okay, so tell me when the White House is going to release a tape of this meeting, and why would they release a tape of this meeting when he says some shit like that?
They're
It
not
was,
going
if it weren't for the two people in that room,
to.
we wouldn't have known that much.
Right.
But all of a sudden it has to be that, oh, it has to be a tape. It has to be a recording for you to believe that this was said.
Yeah. Well, when you got
Why
the
aren't you
majority,
taking the word of the Republican that was sitting in that room, the people that you are following?
because the majority of his cronies said he didn't say it. So and that's where America is sticking with the cronies and believing what the cronies said. Okay.
I
And
call
that's what they
bullshit.
do. You know. Um, One thing I want to say, I posted this today, a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Okay, and that's what's
Mm,
happening in Black America. Okay, and we're becoming silent about things that matter. Okay, I mean, like I said, we need to be raising our voices about this incident. Okay, we've got
yeah,
real issues in this country. Okay,
yeah,
like somebody was comparing Norway to us. They got free everything, free, and Norway's basically a socialist country. Okay,
a
so
socialist
is
country.
45 ushering in socialism? Is that what he's doing?
Mm,
They have free education, free health care. They got the works over there. What we got over here, they try and destroy health care. We got cities that are in disarray that need money, they need help.
right,
Education
right.
system stinks. Um, we got police brutality going on. We
Yeah,
got a lying president and everything. And it comes down to the point where we look like we're the shithole country, okay? With everything that's going on here in America. So why would somebody from Norway want to come to the United States for all the issues that we have?
Shit, I wouldn't.
So
we got problems.
Yeah, we have to listen. Like we have to know this. We got to stop being silent, okay? We got to start raising some Noahs, making some Noahs. We got to bring the funk, okay? Like Roland used to say on his show, And then something else that happened with the breakfast yesterday morning. There were, it was a diverse group of people there. A couple, mostly Democrats, some Republicans. But one post I made today because there was the Republican Central Committee chairman and the Democratic Central Committee chairperson. They got into it to a certain extent because he made the issue of saying that April shouldn't have been bringing up stuff of the past. That she shouldn't have been talking about what happened last week. Shouldn't have been preaching about that. And then what I basically wrote this morning in a post that I posted on my website, I said, April spoke the truth on yesterday. And there were a few people in the audience who were upset because they felt like April should have kept the past in the past and not spoke about issues of the past that still affect us today. I said, we need to talk about the past, the present, and future, and those individuals who get upset, then so be it. We will not be silenced, and we will continue to voice our opinions. When you go to the polls this year, really dissect the slate of people running and make sure that they are the people you want to represent your issues, because some just want your vote and they will not represent your interests. What it basically comes down to, white folks still get upset when black folks speak about stuff that they don't want to hear about, okay? And so we have to continue to raise our voices. And if white folks get upset, so be it, okay? Now, we're going to be talking about the past of what Trump has done. We're going to talk about everything he's doing in the present. And we're going to talk about the future because the fool is going to do some more stuff, okay? But it offends them if we're not kowtowing to what they expect of us, okay? And that burns me.
But the thing is I don't even look at it as whether white folks would be mad at me or Hispanic people would be mad at me. I just say what is on my mind. I say and I support the things that I believe in. Now, whether you believe in them or not, I could give less than a damn. I really don't. I don't care. But for everything that I think that people of color have been going through, yes, I rally for change for them. Do I rally for the human race altogether? Absolutely. Because I don't think that a lot of people really understand that whatever affects blacks as a race, it affects whites. It will affect Mexicans. It will affect Asians. Whomever, okay? Now, it doesn't matter. It's going to affect everybody. So you can't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. You really cannot be afraid. I work for a company which I absolutely love, and they know what I do. They know the shows that I put on. But I can't worry about that. Because I am speaking not just for blacks, I am speaking for the human race. Blacks have been through some horrible things in the history of this country. Absolutely horrific things. I would be less than a human being, or less than the woman that I am, less than a black woman, if I did not have opinions as to what goes on around me and use my voice. Now, if it somehow hurts someone, that is not my intention. My intention is to raise awareness for my culture, for who I am, for the people of who I come from, the people that have struggled for me to do what I do. That's what I'm doing. I am raising awareness. And It's for everybody to take a listen and take a look. It's not just for black folks. How do you think whites will understand what we deal with and what we go through if we don't talk about it? If we're afraid to talk about it, we'll never get a change. Yeah. Period.
But we do have a segment of the white population that supports what we do as Black
Absolutely.
Americans. Absolutely. And that's good. So we can't pigeonhole all white folks, okay?
Right.
We shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put this comment up by
that's what I was reading.
John Brown. Yeah. Let's see if it's gonna come up. There it goes. He says, I think we should do things in secret. I believe in the element of surprise. If we, as Black people, have to, I'm gonna say unite, but in secret, not to do anything bad, but to rise in our standard of living. When you use the word secret, do things in secret, you know what it reminds me of, Reg and Mr. Brown? It reminds me of when, of course, I wasn't around when slavery was going on, but it reminds me of all the information that we've read and that we've seen, where slaves had to meet in secret at night in the barn, or at the creek, and they would do things in secret through church services, during times of worship. They had code words and things of that nature. Are we there? I don't know. I don't know. But we're talking about the unification of people, I think. So by doing it in secret, is that like, would you be doing things in secret to cause an uprising or something of that nature? That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Please do.
Well, you know me. I'm gonna be out there on the streets. I
don't do nothing in secret.
I don't care if they know or they don't know. Okay, I think we have to be out there voicing our opinions. It depends on what type of movements you want, what type of movement you're going to make. Now, if you're doing something that's going to be negative, going to have a negative effect on the community, but at the same time develop something positive out of what outcome of it, then yeah, you might want to be in secret. If I'm going to burn down City Hall tonight, I'm not going to go out and tell everybody I'm going to do that. Okay, so certain things you might want to do in secret, but for what we're talking about now, I think we need to raise the voices, the awareness of the people. Like you said, we need to unite as a group of people to continue to voice our opinion. We have to do that because what has happened, the Trumpeteers feel like they can do anything and say anything they want to say. Now, I was reading an article today that John Lewis revealed that on a recent flight he took a while back, coming from Atlanta back to Washington. He was walking down the aisle to his seat, and he heard one word from this idiot, and all he did, he yelled out Trump. Okay, now he was trying to get the attention of Lewis, but Lewis said he just continued to walk onto his seat. He didn't pay any attention to him. A couple comments said, one lady said she would turn around and knock the crap out of him when he made that comment, but the guy was doing it to try to raise, the little fire in Lewis, okay? But Lewis continue on, So those are the kind of things we have happen. We sit back and we relax and we allow these things to happen, but, the Trumpeteers are out, 45 idiots, they're out constantly saying what they want to say, doing what they want to do, calling us all kinds of names, talking about Obama in the negative, doing whatever. I mean, these fools got upset because Michelle Obama had on a white, bikini top and shorts. Look, she's not the first lady no more. She on vacation. She can wear what she want to wear. But they don't talk nothing about the butt nakedness of his wife laying up in the bed with another woman, being nude, and then she's the first lady. Okay? Acting like a hoe, okay? They don't talk about that. Okay, but they're quick to criticize anything we do as Black Americans. I'm tired of that mess, okay? So we need to raise our voices, and we need to get out and say what we need to say. Okay, they're gonna say what they want to say. It's free speech in this country. Why are we so scared to say something? Why are we so
I
scared?
don't know. That's the part that I think that has me perplexed. That right there. Um, Afraid of losing something, but what the hell are you going to lose? And then if you lost it, was it worth having in the first place?
Yeah.
But you can't lose anything. What you're losing right now by not standing up and by not voicing your opinions and being strong in your convictions as to what it is that you believe in. What you are losing is you're losing self respect. You are losing your culture. You are losing your heritage. You are throwing away what so many men and women have fought for and died for you to have. That is what you are losing.
Mm-hmm.
And with a culture as rich as ours, we should be celebrating by opening our mouths. That's what we should be doing. We use this platform for that very purpose. For that very purpose. And we can't get people to rally and watch this show the way they should be watching it. Hell, Roland is not on anymore. Roland comes on and he does what he can through social media. But you need to start getting and rallying behind people who are trying to make a difference in this world for our lives. I can't say any more than that. Stop being so damn lazy about what you should be doing. Am I getting on my soapbox, Reggie Kearney?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to, okay? I mean, I think all of us are frustrated. It's just like here in my area, some idiot, uh, uh, posted, hung up a Confederate flag on Sunday along beside the American flag. I started to get in my car and go down. I know where the location is. I started to go down in my car and go down there, yank it in, but you put it up too high. My car. But those are the things that the 45 idiots are doing. He's just opened that door where they're not afraid to do anything. We pretty much know, who this property belongs to, but they're doing their thing. Why can't we do our thing? Like I said, we need to speak up. Start riding.
The thing is that those folks are testing us. They are testing us. But the sad part is that the longer we sit and let things, I think, fester,
mm-hmm.
the manifestation, Lord, it manifests into greater anger. And then that is when it gets totally out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That is when, and we see that when we have legal injustices where cops are getting off, when they go out here and shoot somebody. Mm-hmm. We see the boil over in the form of riots, in the form of pillaging. And that is not what we want. Stop getting so angry where we're out here tearing up our own neighborhoods.
Right.
But get out here and do it the right thing. But if you start to speak on it, then there is this sort of compression of reaction. The reaction is not so severe, because we're already in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just have to figure, okay, so he said this, and we're going to say this. We're going to, protest to what he's saying. What does he mean by this? And then when the next thing comes out, you're still out there. You're still doing your thing. You're still protesting, standing up for what you believe in. Why wait for him to be in office for another year? Mm-hmm. And all of these things start to build up. And all it takes is one Confederate flag, like you said, right? It's a Confederate flag. You know where that Confederate flag is. So 9 times out of 10, someone else knows where it is.
Yeah.
So then you're going to look at the boil over. And somebody's not going to go in there and snatch that flag down. They're going to go in there and snatch the hell out of whoever's flying it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Right.
But I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
We wait for shit to boil over.
Mm-hmm.
And then people say, oh, well, look at those idiots out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're animals.
Yeah. So,
That's
John,
what we wait on.
So John Brown has a point there. If I'm going to go down and snatch that flag down, I'm not going to get on Facebook and let y'all know what to do. I'm going to go down and do it.
So, I need to keep a lookout for you and John Brown because, see, you two are dangerous.
It's just sad. It is always sad. Then look, the young people have an opportunity to make an impact on this too. I haven't even heard from Black Lives Matter during this whole debacle. This would be the perfect time for them to gather the young people en masse to protest what 45, the village idiot, as I call them now, did, okay? And said.
Yeah.
It's like everything is being suppressed. All voices are going quiet on me. I'm hurting. Okay, we got to wake up, America.
I know. I feel the same way, Reg. Like I said, it hurts to my core, to my soul. And every time something else comes on that degrades races, other than the white race, it just builds up in me where I'm like holding back that tear.
Yeah.
Because it hurts so bad. And I can't understand why other people aren't feeling that same hurt to do something. But that's why I appreciate people like John Brown. He made a comment. He's listening in.
Mm-hmm.
He's, taking part. At least he gives us something. He gives us an idea.
Right. We can work with that. But look, and did you see the video? I think I might have reposted this young kid, CJ Pearson.
Is that the young boy? Yes. OMG. I couldn't even get through half of it all at once. My brain was doing this. I'm like, are you...
I thought he had disappeared because I hadn't seen him do a post in a number of years. This dude, poor young idiot. I mean, for him to say the things that he says, and this young lost soul has like 300,000 likes. He has people paying him money to support his cause. Look.
But I want to know the demographics of those supporters.
Well, you know what his demographics are. You know what his demographics are. Look, I had someone send me message me today. They've been bugging me about being a Facebook friend. So another friend of mine said, "Will you friend this person because they're assisting her in her endeavors and stuff." So then I went ahead and friended her, and then I was just, checking out his web page to find out, how many likes he got and people listening, and just, looking at this young lost soul. And then her name pops up as somebody who likes. I said, shoot. Now, you know how I am. I don't deal with nobody dealing with this young man, But I try to keep it all in perspective because we all don't have the same taste in life, okay? But this young...
No, we don't.
Yeah, so...
And that's why I really didn't... I say this a lot. Everybody has their own opinion. They have their own...
Yeah, and I got to respect that. Even when they're wrong.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. Yeah. But what I do is I like to be able to at least allow a forum and a platform for people to speak. Now, when you come out with some outright hatred and some outright just foolishness, like we had that show where all those people were trolling our show that day. Yeah, those are the ones I can't stand, and those are the ones where they get cussed out.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
everybody has an opinion.
oh yeah. You gotta respect that, you know. But if we don't like a certain person's opinion, like 45, we need to let people know. We need to protest.
Absolutely.
You know, I really think if we were more forceful in doing what we need to do, I think he completely do 100% turnaround. No, but I think he'd be more careful about what he says and does in this country. Because I want to see him try to do a state visit to one of the African countries. They're not going to invite him. And see,
No.
this is what the village idiot doesn't realize. You have China already in Nigeria buying up all the gas and oil that they can. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
where are these countries going to gravitate to? They're going to gravitate towards Russia and China, countries that are going to take
Mm-hmm.
care of them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
it'd be he would be mighty upset if Russia decided to pour a lot of money into Haiti and have them rebuild. Okay, he would be mighty upset. But that's what he's going to push these countries to do, to find countries that will support them and help them in their endeavors. Okay, and so what's
Right.
happening? He's isolating the United States, and we're gradually falling away from the world stage as the number one leader in this world for democracy,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he wants to make America white again. Okay, you want to make
Oh my
America white again.
gosh.
And
Oh my
John, I agree
gosh.
with you that we do need to have it. We got to have an agenda. I agree, John. I agree with you 100%. We
Right.
got to
Right.
have black agenda. You know, I don't. I have
Yeah.
a book that Tappin Smiley did years ago. And he was doing his state of Black America. He wrote a book. I still have that. He laid out an agenda. I think the book's maybe 10 to 15 years old. I got to pull it out sometimes and look
Mm-hmm.
at it. We do need to have an agenda. We need to set that agenda forth, because the 45 and his idiots have an agenda. They know
They
where they
have
want to
one.
go with this country, and they're going to
Right.
try hard to do it. Hopefully the midterm
Right.
elections will make a difference. But right now they have a game plan. The Republicans have a game plan to destroy as much of this country as they can and make it as conservative as they can. And that's what the end game is. They want to run liberals, into the ground, and they want to have a strong conservative voice. Black America, we need an agenda. We need to know where we're going for the next 10 or 15 years. We need to know where we're going tomorrow. Okay? We need to do that.
Right.
So we need to do that.
You are so right. So right, Reginald Kearney.
So
Well, we have come up to the end. Oh my gosh, we're right at 2 minutes before our time is up. Um, I just lost my train.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. So we're gonna start to close it out and get out of here. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Reginald Kearney?
I just want us to wake up and get this thing right. We need to have our voices heard. We got to realize
Yeah.
Congressman John Lewis is not going to always be around. Okay, he's one of the voices. He's out there. He said the man is racist. The man is racist.
Right.
Okay, he said he's
Yeah.
going to boycott the State of the Union address. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's keeping the dream alive. We know Reverend Jackson is sick right now. I don't expect him to be out here. But where's Reverend
Right.
Shaw? Where's all these other guys that
Right.
are getting out here? Okay.
Well, it's no money in it, Reggie Kearney.
Well, you
That's
can't
why.
do everything. You can't do everything for money. Okay. All right. You got some things you got to do free. Okay. We don't get paid to
There's
come.
no money in it.
We don't get paid to come in here once a week, but we do it. Okay.
No, we don't. Yeah, you're right.
If
You're
it was
right.
money, everybody be trying to do it.
You got that right. You
Yeah.
got that right. But,
Well,
our convictions is what we need to stand on and plant yourself
yeah.
permanently in the
Yeah.
things that you believe in.
And I tell the people who are viewing us, please support us. Please have your friends support us. We're trying to get the message out. And we, I wish we could talk about some other topics on Tuesday nights when we come in, but every Tuesday night when we come on, the Village Idiot has done some of the previous week that we need to discuss.
Exactly.
You know, and we have to do that. You know, we can't walk away from it. You know, so we need to support. You know, we need to support. We need to get the message out. You know, help us push our numbers up. Help us to reach more people. You know, like I said, this is a labor of love for both of us. You know, like I said, if it wasn't, everyone would be trying to do this. Okay, and you know, so help us. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any final words?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just have to follow up with what you were saying, you know, about people supporting what we're doing here. Because if you don't even want to get out and be a part of the protests and march and stuff like that, coming here, believe it or not, reaches so many different people. And as you begin to share and be part of the shows by commenting and sharing your ideas and your thoughts, this is part of the protest. This is part of standing up. So if you don't want to physically get out there and walk the pavement and things like that, then come in here and be a part of this. You know, but you have to choose some part of ground of what you're going to do. You have to choose something to do. We can't continue to be complacent and lazy about our futures and about our children's future, because it's not about us anymore. It's about our children. It really is. It's about our grandchildren and their children. Correct. So stop being lazy. I mean, that's just real talk.
Yeah. We got to change our ways. We definitely got to change our ways and be out there. And like I say, you can tell your friends they can go to YouTube and on the Hot Topics the Hot Topics network, and they can view old YouTube shows, and they can view this one in the next couple of days. You know, whatever we got to do to get the word out, we got to get the word out. You know,
right.
We're gonna keep pushing this, you know, until we become a voice that's heard and we can create some change.
Yeah, till the wheels fall off.
That's right.
Till the wheels fall off. All right. So you have been sitting in and looking at Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney, and I'm sitting in for Chara and Tappin, and hoping that everything works out and everything is getting better for her, keeping her in our thoughts and our prayers. Real World News TV and the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network is sponsored by Shades of Africa in 2 locations, in the city of Corona and in the city of Long Beach. Also sponsored by SPMG Media. Thank you, Ms. Gina Smith, for doing all that you do for this network, as well as our very own Mr. Reggie Kearney here on Real World News Radio, who is the editor-in-chief of Urban Sentinel. So check out all of our sponsors by going to hottopicstalkradio.com/sponsor. And remember, if you're visiting Long Beach or Corona and you're in the Shades of Africa store, mention the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network or Real World News TV and receive 15% off your purchase. Shades of Africa for the mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Brown, and for everybody who was listening in. We see the listeners, but you guys aren't commenting. I'm calling you out. So come on back next week. And we've got another show lined up for you starting at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 8:30 on the East Coast. Once again, thank you for listening to Real World News Radio with Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney and me sitting in for Chara and Tappin. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good night, everybody, and God bless.
Good night. God bless.